In this video, we will look at how you can use Equatio with Google Forms to create open-ended questions. In this first problem, students are being asked to factor the polynomial and then find the zeros of the equation. By clicking on the blue icon, they can pull up the handwriting tool and write their answer. Right now, the video is being sped up just so that we can get through the solution quickly. As our student is working, notice on the right-hand side that the math type appears while the kid is using the handwriting tool. Notice that some of the writing on the right side is scrunched. In a minute, we're going to see that you can fix that. Clicking on the right-hand side, you can add spaces where they're necessary. And then once they're done with the appearance of their answer, they can hit Insert and then submit their form for grading. Now let's take a look at how a teacher could add a geometric shape to a quiz. Clicking on the toolbars at the bottom, you can draw parallelograms, squares, you can add in the height of an object, you can label the dimensions of the object by using the text editor. Notice that once you put the numbers in, you can drag them around by using the pointer tool, and then you would just insert it into your form by clicking on the blue icon. Then you can add some specifics to your question, like I want my answer to be in inches. By clicking on the View Form icon, we can now see what the students will see. Click on the blue icon for Equatio. Students can click on the handwriting tool and type and write in their answer. Equatio will capture the handwriting on the right-hand side. You can expand your writing area by dragging it up if you run out of space. I'm revising the 4 because it didn't interpret it as a 4 when I wrote it more square, but if I angle it, it takes it better. And then inches squared, my units are being labeled. Then I can insert my answer into my form and submit my form for grading. So in this next example, we're going to look at how you can draw two lines on a coordinate plane that meet some specified criteria, like being parallel or have a slope of 2/3. So clicking on the Equatio button as a student pulls up the editor. You can sketch a coordinate plane. On the right-hand side, there's a menu which will allow you to set your scale, and the student can adjust as needed the size of the coordinate plane and also the location. Let's take a look at the menu on the right. I can change my step to count by 1s or by 2s. I can also change the width of the lines, and I like the 2. I think that looks nice. So that's what I'm going to go with. Now, as a student, I need to satisfy the criteria where I have to draw two lines that have a slope of 2/3 somewhere on that coordinate plane. So I chose the line feature. And again, you have to maybe grade these with a little bit of grace. They might not be completely accurate, but as you can see, I'm trying to draw a line that goes through the origin with a slope of 2/3. Once I click off of it and use the select tool, I can then see the grid that outlines the line, and I'm lining it up so that I'm using the 4 and the 6, the 4 for the height and the 6 for the run. And I can then draw my line with a slope of 2/3. So this would be a teaching point you would need to go through with the kids. Now I'm going to try and draw another one that goes through 8 on the y-axis that also has a slope of 2/3. So I'm going to first sketch it. Then I'm going to use the pointer tool. Click on the line and I get the grid, and then I can resize the grid and adjust the y-intercept so that it actually goes through the 2 points below the y-intercept and then 3 points to the right or the left of the y-intercept to generate my slope of 2/3. So we're just doing a few minor adjustments here. I'm not speeding this video up because I want to just make sure that you can see all the little details that I'm providing there. Once you have your lines the way you want them, the student would then click on the blue button to insert that into his quiz for his answer. After the answer is placed into the form, and if that's the last question, then the student would submit their form. Finally, I wanted to show you what it looks like on the teacher's end after the responses are collected. So you would go to your editable version of your form, click on responses, and then you can toggle through each student. So right now I'm looking at the second student's answers, and our second student only answered question 2, but you can see the response. And then the third student only answered question 3, so there's the parallel lines that the student drew. And then the fourth student answered the fourth question, and that's because I kept doing this in pieces. And there you can see the 2 lines that both have a slope of 2/3 that were drawn in the previous problem. To make this into a quiz, go to Settings, Collect Email Addresses, and limit to 1 response if that's what you wish. Click on the Quizzes button, select Make this a quiz, and then check Release Score after manual review because these are open-ended questions. You can also decide what to do with those 3 choices at the bottom. Then what we're going to go through and do is we are going to look at the questions themselves and assign them some point values. Clicking on each question after you make it a quiz pulls up the answer key, and you can adjust the points as follows. I'm just going to make each of these 1 point. Teachers can also add answer feedback for each question by just clicking on feedback and typing in the appropriate feedback.